Most light workers will not tell you that light work is easy. They will not tell you that. So to make a comment like, if I had to do light work, I'd be bored, is off putting to me. That's off putting to me. You're on your own spiritual journey, yes. But when you're putting things out to the public as a support method, and you make a comment like that, are they supposed to suspect that you would be willing to work in something other than the light with that comment? I mean, because that's the question that I would have. As a spiritualist, if I hear somebody say that light work would bore them if they had to do it every day, if they had to do it all the time, excuse me, they get bored. But you out here talking to spirit guides in front of people, asking spirit guides for answers for other people. And giving out angel messages. I'm a little confused. By that. That doesn't make any sense to me. All this different energy out here. It's just it's amazing to me. All this shit that I'm seeing, it's amazing to me. Lost. See, I'm somebody who can own my shit. If I do something, if I've done something, if I've shown you something, if I've said something, I own my shit. I mean, I don't understand. I just don't get it. I just feel like there's a lot of lost people out here. And they're just grasping. Not realizing that they may have some inner work they have to do without the help of others. This is not something that you're going to be able to grasp onto and cling to their life for to help you, because it's not going to work. Because you're still trying to go outside of yourself. You're still trying to go outside of yourself to clean. No. Now is not the time for that. And it's just like I said. The people who do not invite change, and that's even within themselves. If they do not invite change, they're going to suffer moving forward. That is what's going to happen. And you're going to see them suffer. It's going to be miserable. You can sit here and laugh at somebody else's pain, or when they are showing their humility, or not even just humility, but showing their healing process to the public. And you are criticizing them for that, as if that's a problem. It's not to me. That's what I want to see people processing. I want to see people going through it. They're getting it out of their system. by going through it, by dealing with it, by reflecting on it, by doing the introspection that's required. These are my opinions. And I'd rather see somebody more vulnerable with what they do or what they say. There's a certain determination there, a certain power behind that, in my opinion. Why do people care whether or not somebody is dealing with their trauma in front of you or behind closed doors if they're not affected or they wouldn't be affected? That's my question. If you say you dealt with a trigger, you don't understand why you have to keep getting triggered by that thing. I'm trying to figure out how you dealt with the trigger. If you dealt with a trigger, it wouldn't be a trigger anymore. So how are you still getting triggered? Help me understand, because I'm a little confused on that. If anybody thinks that they can trigger me by bringing up the topic of my mom after I made the decision to reveal something that came to me, and in that moment I got vulnerable and started crying about it. If you think that you can use that to trigger me, you are sadly mistaken. You are sadly mistaken. See, I had to go through that. That's what you need to understand. I had to go through that. And like I said, if you look at my page in my description, what the fuck did I say? If you read, you logical person, it says, I bring awareness through my own experiences. I'm pretty sure I said that. I'm pretty sure that's been in my description since I started. Why the fuck do you think you can trigger me by talking about my mom? You gonna fuel me. That's what you're gonna do. You're gonna fuel me because I support my mom in life or death. You're gonna fuel me, but you're not gonna trigger me because that's low vibrational shit. A lot of times people attempt to trigger you because you've triggered them. I've noticed that too. They tend to trigger you because you've triggered them. So it's a, you know, and it could be, it could be a situation where you don't even know, you can't know somebody's triggers. You don't know somebody's triggers unless they tell you what their triggers are. You don't know. But if they feel the need to talk about you or your topics, it's because you've triggered them. If they're talking about you in a negative way. Because if somebody took what you said in a positive way, they would be triggered by you. You may have given them an aha moment. So that's the opposite. Interesting that somebody would try to use someone's vulnerability as a means of attention. Listen. I'm above that. I'm sorry. You won't have to come better than that with me. I'm above that. In that moment, in the video where I start breaking down, it's because when that revelation hit me, I was thinking about what I had did, what I had talked about, and I was thinking about how many days it was between the time of when she left me to the day of my birth, and that was significant to me. So it was a bunch of things hitting me in that moment. Also, I was thinking about what happened as a result of what needed to happen. And that's what helped me to solidify how my mother held the key to unlocking my value. She held it. And if it wasn't for me asking the question that I needed to ask to get the answer to the question I was seeking, I could not have helped to free my mother. She in that time, because everything happens, in my opinion and in my belief, everything happens for a reason. All this time I had been away from my mother, and that particular year I decided to do something different. At the beginning of the year, I decided to get her, probably around spring or summer, I decided to get her number and start talking to her, at least so she can have my number again that year. That was first. I got her number because we had been talking in years. I had been away from her for years when I decided that it was best that we loved each other from afar. And that was our relationship up until that year. When during my healing journey, that was one of the first things I decided to do, was to open that door again to communicating with her. That happened in spring or summer of that year. I was still going through my journey, still doing my research, still doing my meditation. I was on a spiritual journey at that time. And a couple months later, maybe 2-3 months or more, around end of September, I think it was around the middle to end of September of that year, I asked her a specific question through text. I asked her a specific question. She gave me an approximate answer, but that answer was what I needed to bring everything that I thought I knew about my birth full circle. I mean, it's something. It was something that had to happen. It had to happen universally. It had to happen for both of us to finally be free. I had to ask her the right question. I had to ask her the right question. I didn't know it was going to come to me that year. I didn't know that this was going to be our transcendence. I didn't know that. But what I will say is, now that I understand how that works, it has, what I can say is, I'm ready. That's all I can say. All I can say is I'm ready. Okay? Because something happened for me and my mom. And for people who consider death just such egregious or grieving, something people don't even want to touch. It's like one of those forbidden subjects for some reason for a lot of people. I don't see that. I don't see death the same way as you. Death is about transcendence to me. And we're all meant to receive from those before us. But when that's given to us, or when what we need is finally given to us, we don't know that something could happen after that as a result. We don't know that. You don't know that. Unless you have intentions. But I don't need to play victim about my mother. I don't ever need to play victim about my mother. Our life was what it was, and I completely understand why everything that transpired had to happen or happened the way it did. That means something to me spiritually, whether you understand that or not. It is not a manipulative tactic, because I'm not trying to win over anybody by doing it. If you support my channel or you support me and you understand or can relate, thank you. But if you cannot relate, I don't expect you to understand. But you're not going to offend me by attempting to talk about my mother. All you're doing is making out your own path going forward. That's all you're doing. It don't bother me. You're not going to bother me. You're not. This is why I had to have that breakthrough. So that I had to have that breakthrough so that this wouldn't be something that someone tried to use against me, because it was something that I had put out to the public. So you know, you can't hurt me with that. You can try, but you can't hurt me with that. You can't do nothing. That ain't gonna make me move no different by you doing that. That just lets me know where you are. And that's okay. You know, we get to where we gonna get to in the time we were meant to get there. That's for everybody. I mean, to each his own. But I don't need to be watching people's channels like this anymore, because all it does is shows me how much spiritual transcendence really helps you evolve. I can't go back to that type of stuff. I don't even feel the need to go back to that type of stuff where I'm getting upset with people for what they say to me. I don't care. But what you have to say to me, it used to hurt me. And this is what transcendence does for people, okay? That used to hurt me. You used to be able to hurt me with what you say because I was vulnerable. That is not the case anymore. You can try that now if you want. You're not going to get very far. Not with me. I am a grown woman. I don't have time for that. I am about helping people, and I'm about bringing emotional, verbal, and mental support, if I can, to anybody. I have times where I have to take care of my mental, and that's what I go do. But I don't allow what I'm going through personally to affect my clients or my people. I don't do that. I take time when I need to take time. That's what I do. And I have to. Because I'm an energy worker. So it's like, and that's why I keep saying, like, light work is not easy. For people who think light work is easy, it's not. Light workers are a lot of times your people that have been called mentally psychotic and they have problems. And the whole time they be right. These are light workers. They have to put up with knowing the truth, but not being able to show it. Not being able to talk about it. These are light workers. This is the life that they have. People want light workers suppressed. The time for that is coming to an end. Light workers have begun to speak out more and more and more and more. We're often the ones who get called crazy, and that we need to be in a mental hospital. We're sick. You know, this is what people say about light workers. These are your true light workers. These are your true light workers. The ones that are called crazy and the ones people say have mental problems and stuff like that. These are your true light workers. Not everybody, it's way more of them than us. But you'd be surprised at how many of us are out here. Oh, I just wanted to say that I'm going into 2025 on a very positive note. I'm going into 2025 with brand new starts on everything. Everything. I just want people to understand that it's okay for during this time that we're getting ready to go into, if you decide that you want to get away from the world and be with yourself for a while. That's okay to do. Where you tune the world out, it's okay to do that too when you need to. If you don't need to deal with people, don't deal with them and see what that does for you. Because sometimes you'll find that's what you needed to kind of center yourself or be in the moment with yourself and who you are as an individual. There are so many people who have not done introspection and they really need to do it. It will help. It really will help. Take time away from everything and everybody to be with yourself and be in your space. You can be in your mind all day by yourself, not doing anything. for a time, and that will help you understand something when you're by yourself and all you have time to do is be with your thoughts. Some people just can't be alone. They have to be seen. They need attention. So they have to constantly attract it. They think they need to constantly attract it. They don't know how to be by themselves. And that is the sad thing. But people are going to suffer going forward if they do not change up some things that they have been allowing themselves to escape from. It's necessary. Going forward, it's going to be necessary. You're going to be losing people left and right. People are not going to want to deal with you because why? People come into their awakening at different time periods. Y'all may start out together. It could be days later. It could be weeks later. It could be months later. Now all of a sudden, you can't deal with this person no more. And that's how it's going to be going forward for everybody. I don't know how else to explain it, because that's exactly what's happening. It's okay to deal with your mental, however you need to deal with your mental, but just make sure that it's your decision and it's what you feel you need to do for you. Make sure it's something that you stand on, not because somebody else tainted your mind. It needs to be you that's behind whatever you do going forward, not somebody else. All right, y'all.